All right, I'm gonna fulfill a request that I recently got to do a cover of a song a tutorial of a song I covered a long time ago. It's Colter version of Wild Dogs by Billy Don Burns. So number one, this is the first tutorial I've done with this guitar. First tutorial I've used my PC camera, and first tutorial using this microphone that I got for Christmas. So hopefully this all comes through okay. If it doesn't, then turn your volume up, because that's what I'm worried about, is it's not going to be loud enough. But anyway, we'll see how this goes. So first of all, tuning. The way that he plays it is that he's got his guitar typically the way he always does. He's got it down full step, and then he capos the second fret to get it back to standard. That's how he plays it, and that's how I normally play it. But this guitar is tuned down a half step instead of a full step, so I'm going to put it on the first fret to get me to standard. Not Colter approved, but that's how we're going to do it. The chords to this song, I don't think anything that I do is Colter approved, but that's a different story. So the chords of the song are A minor, G, F, and E. So pretty basic chords. If you don't know them, learn them. You're going to need them. So there is an intro to the song, and the intro is repeated as a break between the chorus and the next verse. But once you learn the intro, you'll be able to figure out the breaks in between the chorus and verse. But there's one slight difference, and that has to do with where you're starting from. And I'll go through that. And then there is a bit what I'll call a solo. And really what he's doing is he's playing through the chord progressions, and he's adding some hammers and pull-offs and walk-ups and walk-downs, and making it a little bit more interesting than just repeating the verse chords. And I'll go through that. And then at the end, there is a tempo change where he starts to play fast, and that one's going to be a challenge. And hopefully, since I don't have a video editor, I can get all the way through this and get to that point without screwing this up. So here we go. And for that reason, I will say that if I do screw up, I'm probably going to back up instead of turning this thing off and starting over again, because this is about my 30th take, and I don't want to do it again. So if I screw up, I apologize, but I'll fix it as we go. So, starts out in A minor. So get in that position. And then what he does is in the intro, he plays you got your middle finger pressed down on the second fret of the fourth string, and he strikes that, and then he immediately hammers onto the third fret. So, then he plays the second again. And then he plays the third fret of the A string and gives it a little bit of a bend, and then open. At that point, he will strike down onto the A string. First, he gives a little bit of a swipe up, and then he strikes down on the A minor chord, and he hammers on to the first fret of the B string. After that, he strums a few times, and then he hammers onto the third fret. He strikes the low E open, and he hammers onto the G note, the third fret, and then he plays that open A again before he starts strumming into the verse, because the verse starts out in A minor as well. So I'm going to play through the whole thing up into that last portion of the intro. So here we go. That's the intro. It's short, but it's effective, and it's great because he just takes a normal chord and he just adds these little hammers and pull-offs, and it creates a melody that plays right into the first chord. It's probably very simple songwriting, but I have not perfected the art, but I love the simplicity of it. So that said, the transitions, and I'm going to skip ahead here a little bit, but the transitions between the chorus and the next verse, it's the exact same, 2, 3, fret of the A string and open. But the difference is that because the verse goes through A minor, G, F, and E, your transition and that ditty starts from the E shape, not the A minor shape. So it's just a small little clarification. So when you get to the end of the verse, you're already in E, but you're gonna play that instead of doing a hammer from the A minor with your pinky, you're already up in that same position with your ring finger. I like to slide it to the 3rd fret and then go back to the 2nd fret, 3rd fret with a little bit of a bend, open. Now you go back to the A minor chord and you start the verse over again for the next one. So that little transition, same exact thing, you're just starting from the E, so it's easier to just slide it. So just a little point there. What else? So I'll go through the verse, a typical verse, and the chorus is exactly the same. So I mean, it's repeating A minor, G, F, E, and through the whole song. The difference is that there's little hammers and pulls and walk-ups and things like that. So I'm just gonna do like one bar, A minor, G, F, and E of the typical song, and give you some options on different hammers and walk-ups and things. And with that toolkit, if you listen to the song, you're gonna be able to figure out what he's doing when. Probably everybody that's gonna learn this song never plays it the same way twice. But if you have these tools in your belt, you can do all kinds of hammers and fills. And if you want to learn it exactly the way he does it, just listen to the song over and over and get the timing down, and that'll be it. I prefer to mix it up a little bit. So going through the verses. So again, the intro. Once was a wild dog. Okay, so what I'm doing there is when I go from that A minor and I go to the G, I add a walk up where I go 2nd fret, 3rd fret. I immediately hammer onto the A string using my middle finger, and then after that I play the open 4th string, the D string, immediately after that. So it's not full strums. You can play it full strums, but this song is very kind of delicate in nature in that he's not really, beating the strings. He's playing individual notes and strumming lightly in between. So I'll go through it again. And I'll add a pull off on that same 2nd fret before I hit the F. And when you're in the F, your options are kind of limited with a bar chord. So you can hammer onto the 1st fret with your index finger. You can hammer onto the 3rd string with your middle finger on the 2nd fret. There's different options, right? So and then when you're in the E, and what he does, and I know this for a fact, is that he plays the E, and similar to the A minor where you hammer your index finger, you're doing the same thing here with the E. You'll hear that tone, you'll hear that note throughout the song. So I'll play through it the way that I typically play through it, and I change it all the time, but this is kind of an example of how you could do it. can do hammers on the second fret with your middle finger, second with your index finger. It's all in the family, so you can use any of those. Now the other constant, I said that's a constant where he hammers onto the first fret in the E shape. He always hammers onto the third fret of the low E string before he transitions back to A. So I'll go through that from F. And that first note of the A minor, he typically just hits the open A, and then he starts the strum. So it really puts it kind of punches with the root note. So that's how you get through the verses and the chorus. Just remember that hammer onto the G, the low E string, and then the open A, the root note, as you're going into the A minor. That's an important one, and he does it very consistently, and it kind of makes the song. So that is I've gone through the intro, the breaks, the verse, the chorus, and now I'll get to what I'll call a solo. So after the second chorus, he plays that last E and he does the hum, he goes back into as if he's going to play a verse. Same chord progression, A minor, G, F, and he does an F run up to G, and I'll go through that. And then he plays the E, then he hits that G and goes back to the A minor, and he starts the third verse, the last verse. So after he gets through the second chorus, he does the same break or intro. Hammers on the first fret like he normally does in the A minor, but this time immediately after he hammers, he plays the third fret of the B string with his pinky, and he strums and then he pulls off. And then he pulls off of the first fret of the B string. So he's kind of doing this third fret, first fret thing in the A minor shape. So I'll go through it again. Hammer, pull off, pull off. And as soon as you pull off on that last time, you're going to walk up to the G again. Do that typical A string hammer, but instead of just strumming after that, he does a hammer pull off onto the second fret of the fourth string, open third string. I can't get my hand out of the way, but so I'll do that transition again. And as soon as you play that open third string, he walks back up, back to the A string, hammering and pulling off each string as he comes back up. And I know that doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to play through it. Right into the F. So it's this fret play, hammer pull off right here in the second, on the second fret in the G chord. And as soon as you hit the F, this is where he does this slide up in a bar chord, and I'll explain that. The first thing you got to know is the strumming pattern. It changes and it becomes all downstrokes. So once you're in the you do that G medley. He lifts up off of the third string of that your ring finger's in the bar chord, and then puts it right back down. He plays it basically 3 strokes. Then he immediately slides up to the 2 frets to what would be the G position. But as he's sliding up, he lifts his pinky off of the bar chord shape. So I'll try to do this again. See how my pinky's free now? So it's the same bar chord shape. You're just pulling your pinky off. So he slides up to the 3rd and releases his pinky, and then he plays each chord as he walks back up to the F. And I didn't count that time, but he strikes the G a few times before he goes back up. So now he's back in the E, and then he does the right back into A minor, and he starts the last verse where he says we'd go running through the forest with ease. Okay, so I'm going to play that full kind of solo version quickly, or at pace, not faster than normal, just so you can kind of see how it all comes together. So there's the break first, or the intro. That's it. Hopefully you get through that. Practice. Now, where he ups the tempo at the end, bear with me here. It's all the same chords again. It's just that he's speeding up the tempo, he's adding some hammers and pull-offs, and he's connecting the chord progression through those hammers and pull-offs. I'm not a music theorist. It's taken me 20 years to figure this stuff out, but it just works. And you can use this for your own songwriting, and you can figure out other songs knowing how all of these individual notes and hammers tie the chords together. You'll find it repeating, and people copy each other all the time. So what he does is at the end of the last verse, he does that same intro or outro, I guess in this case, and he bends and he holds it, and then he immediately goes into the faster pace in the A minor. So he's in the A minor chord, and this gets more into the kind of the Colter wall cowboy song strumming. So he's alternating the bass. He starts out with the A string. So it's strike the root, down, up, alternating bass. But he's playing it faster than what he normally does in some of his older songs. So get used to that strumming pattern. So what he's doing is he starts by hammering on the 3rd fret of the A string, and then playing it open, hammering on the E string, and instead of playing the E string open, he plays the open A string again. So you want to get I would practice that and get used to that hammer and pull off progression. And then from A minor he goes to G, just like he does in the verse and the chorus. So it's that same walk up. So what I'm doing there, so instead of doing the, you're doing the in the A minor shape. It's kind of that same walk up, but you're in the G shape. So he does a hammer onto the second fret, and then he plays the open third or fourth string. So it's fifth string, fourth string, fifth string, sixth string. So he's kind of walking with the bass notes instead of just going alternating bass. He's actually going from the sixth string, fifth string, fourth string, hammering back on the fifth string, and then the sixth string again. And he just goes through that progression. 5, 5, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 5, 6. So he plays that a couple of times, and I'll go through it from A minor. So he only plays that a couple of times, but I'm just trying to give you the rhythm here. So after he does the second time that he starts to go down the line again, he hammers on the fifth string, and then he plays the open third string, second fret of the fifth string, open fifth string. I gotta play it fast, hold on. So it's open fourth string, second fret fifth string, open fifth string, third fret, you're already in the shape, third fret of the sixth string. And then that transitions you to F. So you're playing the first fret of the low E string, and you're doing the same strumming pattern as you would if you were playing A minor. So this is true alternating bass. So it's fifth string, sixth string, fifth string, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6. And then once you're ready to transition again, he plays the first fret, third fret of the low E string, and he transitions to the E. So again, A minor, G, F, E. It doesn't change through the whole song. So when he gets to the E, he hammers onto the second fret of the A string every time as he's doing the alternating bass. And then he transitions back to A minor again by hammering the G, just like he does in the song. And then the open A minor, or the open A string, into the A minor. And it repeats the strumming pattern. Alright, so that's the first time through, and he plays through it twice, I believe, on the album. And when I did the cover of this before, I didn't do this next part. I repeated the first part twice. But I've since learned how he does a little ditty in there with the G, and I'm going to explain that. And it's very similar to I Ride an Old Paint. It's almost the exact same little ditty walk up on the G chord as he does in that song. So again, after you transition from that E, same walk up. I'm going through the first one again. When you go to G, instead of just doing the into G, he's into A minor. So instead of just going A minor, and what he does is he takes his ring finger, he's on the 3rd string with his ring finger, he just moves it up to the 3rd fret, and he does a quick little 3rd fret, 2nd fret to open, pull off. So it's 3, 2, 0 in one motion, one strike. Hammer, pull off on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, then the 5th string, and then you can either roll into the G or just hit the G. So I'll do this again kind of slow, like half speed. I hope that came through okay. So that's that fast-paced intro. So to kind of tie it all together, I'm going to play through it one more time, and I'm going to play it at like half speed. So to go from the end of the last verse, he does that transition deal, or the intro, I guess, or outro. 2nd fret to the 3rd fret. I screwed it up. Hold on. And he holds that last, it's a C note, the 3rd fret. And then he immediately goes into the at the end there is a true outro, and the way that I play it is instead of doing it's the same kind of position as the intro, but I play it one set of strings up. So the normal one is you start on the 4th string, you go to the 5th string and open, and then play the A minor. You can finish like that if you want, but when you get to that last E, I like to play it up here on the A string, where I goes 2 to 3, and I put the bend on the 3rd fret, the G note of the low E string, and then play the open E. So what that sounds like at the end, I guess, is So it's the same progression, right? You're just a set of strings up. So instead of starting on the 4th string, you're going on the 5th string. And he usually ends the song with a real slow A minor with a hammer on the 1st fret. I'm gonna go back and review this. Hopefully it's okay, but man, that was brutal getting through that fast part. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have questions or you need something clarified, hit me up in the comments and I can post an update or something if this didn't resonate. But thank you for sticking around. Sorry it took so long. Have a great night. Hopefully this helps. Thanks.